In the heart of Gaza City, at the place they call Palestine Square, Hamas keen to show it's still calling the shots. Parading 4 young, smiling hostages in front of growing crowds before handing them over to the Red Cross. The women's families watching the moment live on TV from Israel, shortly before the freed hostages crossed the border, whisked away to an Israeli military base for reunions 477 days in the making. 19-year-old Liri Albag's mother cries out, "My beauty, you're a hero, you're home." Onwards to a hospital outside Tel Aviv, welcomed like heroes.
Shalom, shalom lach.
The nation's leader quickly on the phone to their parents.
Thank you. Thank you all. Lots of joy. Hug her and all the girls. All of the Israeli people are hugging them now.
The Prime Minister presenting this as another win in Gaza after 15 months of war. Palestinians watching the handover, seeing it very differently.
We are very happy. We are victorious. We are proud. All we've endured, our resilience and the starvation, were not in vain.
Why not give? Look at us. It's been a year and we are still standing.
From Palestine Square to Hostage Square in Tel Aviv, and a vigil for those still held in captivity.
The release of each hostage has a marked effect on the group gathering here, as they have done every Saturday night for 15 months. On the one hand, it is fueling hope that more hostages will be released in coming weeks, but it's also heightening anxieties that this fragile deal could fall over at any moment.
The Israeli government's unhappy civilian Abel Yehud has not been released as promised, saying it's a breach of the ceasefire agreement. As a result, thousands of Gazans are being blocked from travelling north. But Hamas insists she'll be freed next week. Family members of hostages not slated for release in this initial 6-week ceasefire are also fearful.
There is no word in the Hebrew language, in the English language, in any language that can describe what we are feeling, the mixed emotions that we are feeling.
Yeah, we don't trust our government. We see during the time that our Prime Minister torpedoed the deal.
They're desperate for the US to maintain the pressure on Benjamin Netanyahu to stop him returning to fighting in Gaza as they keep up their fight for their loved ones.
Hundreds gather in the centre of Ramallah, waiting for their relatives to be released from Israeli prisons in the West Bank. Abdul Salam Halabia waits for his brother Ibrahim, who's been in prison for 21 years. He was a commander of a Hamas cell in Jerusalem and planned a suicide bombing in a cafe, which was thwarted before it could happen.
Can you understand Israelis being very concerned about him being released?
In general, we're against targeting Israeli or Palestinian civilians. But the clash between Palestinians and Israelis has gone through different moments. At the time when he carried out this operation, it was a specific moment.
Part of the family is 13-year-old Bisan Al-Dik. She's never met Ibrahim, her mother's uncle.
I'm so happy to meet him in this time because it's my first meeting.
Abdul Salam's phone goes. Ibrahim is out of jail and is on his way. In the chaos and pushing, Abdul Salam spots his brother. It's a frenzied reunion.
It's overwhelming, especially after such a long time in an occupation prison. Lately, things have only gotten worse. They've been treating us even more harshly since the war started.
One after another, the prisoners are carried into the building as returning heroes. Many look gaunt. They're given a quick medical check and some are rushed to hospital. Prisoners walk or are carried across the courtyard until relatives spot them.
Not surprisingly, a lot of very emotional reunions here. Some of these prisoners have been in jail for 20 or 30 years and they went in as young men in their 20s and coming out in their late 40s or 50s, and a lot of the relatives haven't seen them for decades, and a lot of the younger people here, younger Palestinians, have in fact never met their uncles and so forth. So a lot of strong emotions in this courtyard at the moment.
Several of the men say they were tortured by Israelis while in prison.
The situation in prison was dire. I cannot even describe it. It will take a while. I cannot do it in 2 words. The situation of the occupier prison can be compared to Guantanamo.
They tortured us, beat us, humiliated us. That was the case for all prisoners. But thanks to God, we are liberated with pride.
Liberated with pride, but the hatreds of this conflict continue. John Lyons, ABC News, Ramallah.